After receiving an amazing response for a previous series named Saturday Trends, we have come up with a new series of episodes named Career Overseas with our speaker Krunal Tavkar, who has done his master's in computer science and specialization in machine learning from University of Southern California and is currently working in a product-based company and will be guiding us through his journey and experiences and make us familiar with all the procedures required for pursuing an education abroad in this newly started series. Once again, I would like to invite our viewers and our speaker to the first episode of Career Overseas named Getting Started. So let's begin. Krunal, are you ready?
Yep. I
Yeah, okay. So when did you think that you would like to pursue your higher education abroad?
so I graduated from Pune, like Pune University and RSCOE in 2018. So it was about 2017 that I had made the decision that I want to pursue my master's abroad. So that was the time period. So it was very short. It was a very impulsive decision at the time. But yeah, 2017. So
Okay.
a year before I graduated.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So was there any specific reason also for choosing higher education, like studying
Um,
abroad?
Yeah, a couple of things. So one of them was that I wanted to get a deeper dive. So one thing I felt was because I loved the field so much with computer science and machine learning, I felt that I need to get a deeper understanding of each and
Yes,
every
yes.
aspect related to it. So it was the academic drive to sort of dive in more deeper into the subject matter per se. And apart from that, it was also to sort of get a different flavor of culture and get that sort of experience as well, which is not really academic related, but it rounds you off very
Exactly.
well as a personality. So it was a couple of things. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Also, I feel that studying abroad brings a sense of independence. Like situations that might be a piece of cake in one's home country might turn out to be tricky abroad. And that's when we truly evolve. Also, there's this sudden exposure to new environment, foreign people and culture, which makes you a whole new version of yourself, which you never discovered. Yeah. So
Oh,
that's a great
absolutely.
choice. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what made you choose machine learning as your specialization course for masters?
So the thing is, I started with machine learning sort of in my third year in my undergrad, and I was just exploring different projects, different use cases where machine learning was being used in the industry at the time, and I just felt a
Okay.
connect with. I don't know. I don't know how to quantify it in a way as an engineer it should be, but
Yes.
I don't know how to quantify that relationship. I just had fun in learning and coming up with projects and solving problems in machine learning, and that's the only drive that till date I have for machine learning. It's just solving problems one after the other and getting to learn more, I think. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Absolutely. So basically, it's just that instinct that made you follow your passion for machine learning.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely, that instinct. And
Yeah,
also
yeah.
like in terms of development, I could never cook back in India, and today I can guaranteedly tell you that I can cook a very nice biryani. So
That's
it's
what I
just
said. Now
been.
brings a sense of independence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, true. It's just been a
exactly.
wonderful experience all round. Although academically, the first term for me wasn't that great because it's a huge shift
Okay.
from when you come from the Indian education system into, say, the American or any other
Absolutely.
foreign university. That shift does hit you, but eventually
Yes.
you do learn and you do bounce back. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, yeah. That's nice. Also, how and when did you start your preparation for the same?
So as I said, so I graduated in 2018, and it was a very impulsive call that, okay, if I'm graduating in 2018 and I'm applying for the fall 2018 batch in a way for admissions. So usually in order to make it to admissions for fall, you have to apply by December the previous year. So December, January are the two
Okay.
months where your applications to your universities need to be sent, and it takes roughly 3 months for you to give your GRE and TOEFL or IELTS, depending on your university requirement for what language exam you have. Uh, So my preparation was a very short-term preparation. I wouldn't recommend that to anyone. My preparation was literally just a month for the exams.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so it was just like I think June, July, I prepared for the exams. September, October were my exams, and by November end, my applications were already sent out to the university. So it was a very expedited process, if you would say. But learning from
Yeah.
my experience, I would definitely recommend people that if you're targeting, say, you graduate in the May of 2020 or 2021, and you're targeting the admissions for fall 2021, you should definitely start preparing a year before you want to give your exam, because it gives you a lot of
Okay.
time to do your own research. There'll be days where you don't want to do it anymore because it does get that stressful, the preparation for the GRE and TOEFL exams. But it
Yeah.
helps you sort of evaluate your situation better and make better plans. It's just about planning, is what I feel.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Planning is the key, we can say over here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay. Okay, so that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the series as we'll be discussing on preparation strategies for GRE, admission process, accommodation arrangements, job opportunities, and many more in the upcoming episodes of Career Overseas with Krunal Tavkar. Also, we are starting with our new Instagram series where we'll be providing you with all the facts, tips, and tricks to get your foot into the tech world.
Now let's have a look at the trailer of our new Instagram series.
Hi guys, thank you for supporting our YouTube page. And now we've decided to start our Instagram page as well. Our name is Betrainophilic, and we'll be sharing some interesting facts and tips so that you can clear your hiring process and get your dream jobs. Well, there are a lot of questions that have arisen in this pandemic. One such question is, a lot of companies have reduced their hiring rate. Is it true? Well, a lot of articles certainly do show that. Some companies even stated that they've reduced their hiring process by over 40%, which is huge, and a lot of students in the fourth year will be facing problems. Well, our site will be showing you some tips and certain facts that will help you clear this challenge. And as there are no physical drives being conducted, no campus drives, no pool drives, well, which brings us to the second question. Why are competitive coding coming into picture? As the pandemic is going on, no physical drives are being conducted, the companies have resorted to competitive coding. This process has been in the industry since long, but then the whole pandemic has just boosted this process, and a lot of companies are shifting towards it. Our site will also show you some useful tips so that you can clear this coding round and then get into your future.
Competitive programming is a mind sport usually held over the internet or local network involving participants trying to solve a program according to provided specifications. A programming competition generally involves a host presenting a set of logical or mathematical puzzles known as problem statements to the contestants, and the contestants are required to provide a code for the problem statements. Judging mainly involves the number of solutions solved and the time required for successful execution. Other factors include output produced, execution time, program size, etc. So, what is the best strategy to improve your skills in logical thinking ability, algorithm development, and speed for competition?
Global contests like TCS Code Vita provide a great platform for young students to kindle their creativity as well as promote conceptual thinking in an engagement manner. In order to clear round 1, you need to solve 2 coding problems out of the 6 provided. So that requires a lot of practice. Having been said that, I assume you all have a lot of questions in your mind like,
How many competitive exams are held for job recruitments by IT companies? And what are the benefits of getting selected through a competitive coding exam?
When do you actually know that you are prepared enough for programming competitions? Also, how do you master programming competitions?
what are the questions asked in Code Vita? What are the topics that you need to stress on for Code Vita? Don't worry, guys, all your questions will be answered by us very soon. Stay tuned.
Moving ahead in today's episode,
Once again, I would like to thank Krunal for taking out the time and agreeing to join us despite of the major difference in our time zones. So thank you.
Thank you.
Also,
Thank you so much.
let us all catch up. Yeah. So let us all catch up on next Saturday for the second episode of Career Overseas with our speaker, who will be guiding us further for pursuing higher education abroad. So thank you so much for connecting with us and joining us. Yeah, that's it for this episode. Also, do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, stay safe, stay productive, and have a wonderful day ahead. See you all in the next episode. Thank you.